Well, here we are at day 4 of Toy Fair and things are wrapping up. Man, oh man, what an amazing show. All the toys coming out of this year's Toy Fair have me with goosebumps, with excitement. It's been amazing. If there was any theme this year, it's retro. And today we're diving in to my top 10 surprise announcements at Toy Fair. And these toys are amazing and they are going to bring back all those retro vibes. So let's get right into it. At number 10 from Playmates, one of those classic lines that we loved from the late 80s and early 90s. Of course, we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this mutant module and foot cruiser are absolutely amazing. They are new tooling based off the original tools. So they are exact to what the originals look like. All that purple, black of that mutant module with all the individual little drill pieces that were so easily lost are here to recreate that vehicle. And I, for one, am super excited about this. I know a lot of people are probably thinking the sewer layer is what they were most excited about from this re-release line. Maybe it's some of the figures. We've got some good re-releases coming from those original molds, but for me, it's the mutant module, and more importantly, that foot cruiser with the vintage style vehicle, the purple, the black kind of paint, the fire-ish design, even though it's not really fire, but it has that two-tone look that a lot of those vintage muscle cars have. Such an iconic vehicle from that toy line, and it's great to see it back. At number 9, this may surprise you, but this is a vintage toy that really brings back a lot of memory. Some would say a lot of excitement, and that's right. We're talking about Gem and the holograms. To see this toy line, a staple of the 80s, of that 80s pop rock music look, Gem and all her band, they are coming back and they look fantastic. Each of these figures is highly articulated. They come with stands that play the original music, the original songs. They're rocking those original 80s outfits. And for me, that's why this one comes in at number 9, just because it gives you all those nostalgic feels. We're heading over to Super 7, and one of their newest releases this year is they're pivoting into O-ring figures, like those classic GI Joe O-rings from the 80s. Only now we are getting them in different lines. So one of them is Universal Monsters, but the one that stands out the most to me, the one that is most interesting, is these Back to the Future O-ring figures. Of course, you got Marty in 1985, you got Marty in 1955, and of course, Doc Brown. These look absolutely amazing. Love those accessories that come along with these. Can't wait to pick these up. Again, these are coming from Super 7. Now, this next toy isn't so much as vintage nostalgia as it is kind of an homage to those 80s slasher films with the gore cranked up. And at number 7, we are talking about NECA's newest license, the Terrifier. I cannot wait to get these figures from Terrifier 3 and Terrifier 2 into my collection. They look amazing. I don't recall off the top of my head what the little Terrifier girl is called, but you have her, you have blood soaked Terrifier, you have Terrifier in that Santa Claus outfit. Man, these look amazing. The detail is great. Uh, I cannot wait to get these, and that's why it's my number 7. And at number 6, we're gonna still be in the NECA booth, and this next figure, if you could call it that, it's really more of a game, is really a new imagining of that classic game of Jaws. The way NECA has done this, so you have essentially a highly detailed, large, to scale action figure of Jaws, but they've incorporated the classic Game of Jaws features into this. So it can be an action figure, it can be a game where you're trying to remove all those bits of junk and tires and boxes and cans out of Jaws's mouth before they snap shut on you. What a great homage to that classic game while still giving fans of Jaws a scale, highly detailed action figure. And this thing is amazing. And it is going to come home with me at some point. All right. If you guys have been here on this channel, you know number 5 is one of my favorite lines, and this new wave is no exception. Again, we're talking NECA, this time the Ben Cooper costume kids. And in the newest wave, we have some really fun ones like The Fly. We also have Jaws, Godzilla, and of course, from the Turn of the Living Dead, Tarman. So cool that these are coming. And man, these are all going to look so good. And these are helping to fill out that line that just continues to grow like crazy. So NECA once again does it, knocks it out of the park with these costume kids. I am so excited for these. At number 4, one of the most interesting and surprise releases, I think, and unfortunately, we have to wait till 2026 for these to start shipping, but it is that iconic plush from our childhood. We're talking about My Pet Monster. It had a movie, it had cartoons, and it had a toy line. And finding a complete My Pet Monster on the retro toy market is very difficult, and it is going to run you a pretty penny. And this new My Pet Monster from Loyal Subjects could bridge that gap for those that really want to add one of these to the collection. While it isn't exactly the vintage size, it is a great homage to that vintage plush and has many of the same features. So again, this looks great and it brings back so many memories. We are entering the top 3, and you can't have the top 3 without starting with one of the biggest, most important action figure lines in toys. In fact, some would say it is the action figure line that created action figures. One of the hottest, largest selling action figures of all time. We're talking Kenner Star Wars, and this newest line from Hasbro, the vintage Kenner figures in this line, in this wave, are absolutely fantastic. They're a bunch of figures we never got in those original ones. We're talking Dr. Evazan and Walrus Man. Of course, Evazan is all brand new. Walrus Man is, of course, one we had, but you can't have one without the other. And these are amazing. We have Han Solo in his stormtrooper outfit, which will look great next to that Power of the Force Luke. And so cool. We have our Rebel Trooper, another great figure, one we never got before. And lastly, we have our Sand Trooper in that vintage line, a staple, one we're surprised we never got. And of course, all of these are coming with those vintage style guns and some new guns that we're getting for the very first time. They come in all that vintage packaging and I cannot wait to see these. I'm actually looking and excited about buying a Star Wars figure again, despite what Disney has done to this franchise. And number 2 is probably everybody's favorite puppet, the one that really I connect with the most. we're headed down to Sesame Street, and we're talking about the NECA Ultimate Action Figure Oscar the Grouch. This thing is amazing. It comes with so many accessories, from those elephant trunks to his little buddies. Everything about this Oscar the Grouch just brings back so many memories. And while it is based on a child's toy, this is no children's toy with all of these accessories, details, everything. This figure looks amazing, and it is definitely going to end up in my collection. Can't wait for this one to come out. At number one, it's a big one, and it's really more than one. It is one of my favorite toy lines of all time. It was my number one vintage toy pickup of 2024. And thanks to loyal subjects, it's back, and it's back in a big, big way. We are, of course, talking about Mask, the mobile armored strike command vehicle and figure line. And Wave One is absolutely amazing. You are going to see Condor with Brad Turner, Thunderhawk with Matt Tracker, the Switchblade with Miles Mayhem, and most importantly, and most exciting, is the Rhino, complete with both Matt Tracker and Bruce Sato. The Rhino is this iconic semi. Next to Optimus Prime, there is probably no other semi toy as popular as the Rhino. The vehicle splits in part, it transforms into a mobile command station, it has rocket firing, you name it. These other toys, the Switchblade, which converts from helicopter to jet, Thunderhawk, which moves from cars to a jet, Condor, which moves from a motorcycle to a helicopter. All of these vehicles and their transforming capabilities, those tiny action figures, and yes, all new sculpts on these action figures. So they're more detailed, more accurate, and they've added those ball joints on the shoulders so they're more articulated. You have the hinged knees so that they can sit in the vehicles perfectly. These look amazing. They are using the same vintage molds, uh, features, mechanics, everything that was great about these is being recreated to the scale, everything, with some nice additions. We have peg holes so you can add your figures on here and pose them out on these different vehicles. We have blast effects. Every one of these has unique blast effects. And in the case of the Rhino, you have two. You have smoke for the smokestacks, or when those smokestacks have been moved into the battle position, you have the blast effects of him firing the guns off. This is absolutely amazing and was a huge announcement, and one of the first out of the gates that took traction. And by the amount of people talking about these figures, they are going to be huge. But it's not just Mask. It's not just that they used these uh, vintage style molds and figures and all the blast effects and how great these vehicles all are. They are kicking it up a notch, and each one is coming in the vintage Hasbro packaging that they originally came in. So cool. You're going to have that dynamic box art. Everything about them is going to bring back all those nostalgia vibes, and the prices are actually pretty decent considering today's costs of toys. The Condor is going to be $29.99. Thunderhawk is coming in at $49.99. The Switchblade $79.99. And if you haven't already guessed, Rhino coming in just under $100 at $99.99. So can't wait to add all four of these. And I'm really looking forward to doing a comparison video of the vintage Rhino up against the modern Rhino. Where did they get it right? Where did they get it wrong? So cool. They're just waiting for some final licensing issues to be wrapped up around the names of these vehicles. And then we should start seeing production of these and hopefully hitting store shelves later this year. I cannot wait for Mask. All right, guys, that was my top 10 surprises from Toy Fair 2025. While there were many great toys, these are the ones that stood out to me. These are the ones that I didn't really expect to be announced this year and am so over the moon. I'm wondering uh, I'm sitting here thinking about how bad my wallet is going to hurt with these releases. There are, of course, many other great figures and toys announced. We, of course, had new Motu Origins cartoon collection figures announced, even a playset that they kind of had to roll back on. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. We had new G.I. Joe classifieds, and of course, those retro card backs that I love are coming more. Finally, it seems like it's been quite a while since we've had a new release ship. We have Nacelle with Cowboys of Moo Mesa coming. Lots of awesome stuff coming this year from all these companies, and I'm super excited about it. So, all right, guys, with all those announcements made at Toy Fair 2025, I'm dying to know what your favorites are. Drop me a comment below. I'm truly interested in which of these figures and toy lines you guys are ready to spend your hard earned money on. And if you've enjoyed this video and you've made it all the way to the end, I'd appreciate it if you smash the like button, hit subscribe, and remember, until next time, have fun.